If you want to. Okay.
Okay, today, have the privilege of having Cypress Basin Hospice here. I've worked with Cypress Basin for a number of years. They're a great group. Keena Zarcone is a licensed master social worker. She's the director of provider relations. Mark Davenport is the director of bereavement services. And they're going to talk about hospice services, but also their Camp Braveheart, which is a bereavement camp for children that they have every summer, I believe. So they're a great group of people, and we're all honored to have them here today.
I'm not real sure that I'll need the microphone. My parents would tell you I don't, so I guess we'll trust them. If you can hear me, let me know, and I will grab the microphone. Yes, can.
I turned it off, so just push it till the green line comes up. Is it this?
I am technology.
No, it's that one.
Oh, I see. Okay. So thank you so much for having us here. We appreciate the opportunity to be able to speak. We are with Cypress Basin Hospice. I'm sure most of you are familiar with hospice and have heard that along the way. But we do end-of-life care, we do comfort care and palliative care, and we're trying to make sure that the patient is comfortable in the end-of-life times. Not only are we focused on the patient, but I think one of the things that maybe gets kind of lost in the shuffle is what we do for the families of the patients. So we do a lot of support services. Mark will talk about some of those in his capacity. As a social worker, one of my main goals is that the family has all they need to take care of the patient, that the patient has all they need in their home. We do care in the home, we do care in nursing facilities, assisted livings, and hospital settings. So we're able to provide care pretty much where the patient is all the way around. We do everything from pediatrics to geriatrics and everything in between. We are a hospice, we are a nonprofit, so we are able to treat anyone and everyone. It's not based on whether you have insurance or your income. If you need our services, we're there for you. So that's kind of one of our blessing opportunities that we do have. Again, we do have the ability to have nurses. We have nurse aides. We have a social worker like myself, and we do have bereavement services. We have chaplains. Our medical directors are very involved in the care, so we have a lot of physician input in our care planning. Our physicians are very readily available to us. We do have one who is palliative care and hospice certified, so that's kind of been a great addition to the team. We have a physician, a couple of the ones that we do work with will actually do home visits, so that's kind of a hot commodity when a physician's willing to go to homes, nursing homes, and see people in their environment. So we have patients that aren't able to get out, and that's a blessing for them because they can still see a physician. We have nurse practitioners who also work with us, and they do home visits as well. Mainly for us, hospice is not just a job but a passion. So I think to really kind of fulfill that role in what we do, you have to really have that desire, and it's kind of what you're led to. So it's really been an eye-opening experience as I've worked in healthcare for 20 years and done everything from hospital to home health, a brief time in nursing facilities, things of that nature. And really hospice is really kind of where I feel like I'm kind of made my fit and found a good place to be. Because I believe in it, I know it's a good program, and I know what we can do for the people that we serve and the communities that we live in. So it's a great way to give back to where we've grown up and lived all our lives. So that being said, I'm going to turn the program over to Mark, and he's going to come up and talk about the Camp Braveheart.
Thank you, Keena. Good afternoon. It is good to be with you today. We are always glad to be out and greet our community and to get to know you all and give you the opportunity to get to know us a little bit. My name is Mark Davenport, and I'm the Director of Bereavement Services at Cypress Basin Hospice. I am a ordained Presbyterian minister, and serving church in Pittsburgh as well as the Presbyterian Church in Mount Pleasant. So I have a lot of spare time with that, and my full-time work at the hospice. I'm a native Arkansan, and this is my third venture into East Texas. Something keeps bringing me back here, so I think I may just stay this time and see how that works out. You all will note on your table that there is a white sheet of paper with some circles on it. And we're going to take a pop quiz today. I know that you all studied and are ready for that. Want to take just 2 or 3 minutes for you to take a look at that white sheet of paper. And I just want you to list some names of people who fit in these categories. And then we're going to come back to that kind of at the end of our chat together. So I want you to take 2 to 3 minutes. There should be a pen on your table with the information that we left there. And this is just a thing to remind us that we are not alone. Okay? So who helps me? Recall some of your teachers that have helped you, and just list a couple of those names down there, and go through all of those circles that you can, and put some names in there. You are working on one of the exercises that we have our kids do at our Camp Braveheart camp. As you continue to work your way through those circles, let me just go ahead and say that we do a lot of things with bereavement services. I'm going to focus on Camp Braveheart in just a second. Let me just make you aware of some of the other things that we do. Once one of our patients dies under our care, their family comes into under our bereavement care, and we will be in touch with that family and the caregivers of that patient for up to 13 months at a minimum, longer if necessary, and if necessary means that they want us to continue to be involved with them. They receive 5 or 6 letters during that 13-month period as their grief process unfolds. And those letters correspond with where they are in that grief process, offering them encouragement, continuing to offer them hope, and continuing to let them know that we are available for their needs following their loved one's death. We also do individual grief counseling. And we, on a couple of times during the year, we put together groups of people that will meet for grief counseling and support. All of this is done at no charge. Again, as Keena mentioned, we are a nonprofit and we are faith-based, and we take very seriously our connection to the community to provide these services for people regardless of their ability, to pay for those services. So all of these services are provided at no charge and are led by me or by one of our other chaplains. We have offices in Paris, Sulphur Springs, and Mount Pleasant. And we, as I said earlier, we really enjoy the opportunity to get to know our community and for our community to get to know us. Specifically, what I want to talk to you about is Camp Braveheart. Camp Braveheart is a 2-day day camp that takes place in 3 different locations, and all of that takes place during the summer months. We have a camp in Paris, in Sulphur Springs, and in Mount Pleasant. Local churches will provide the venues for that, And a lot of volunteers from those churches will help us with food and help us with the work that we do while we're on their church campus. We started this in 2010, so we will be coming into our second decade of doing Camp Braveheart. And over that time, we have been able to reach in between 450 and 500 kids who have experienced death in their family or through a close friend, someone that has been instrumental in their life, and it's just, kind of put a bump in their road. What we came to understand is that kids often get left behind a little bit in the grief process. Parents, grandparents are consumed with grief themselves, and they don't often know how to talk to or how to let their children talk about their grief, because it is a very specific thing that children go through. Children are still fairly black and white in their understanding of things. They haven't learned to gray things up like we have, and we could have a whole other conversation about which one of those is the most healthy. But for the kids, Grandpa was alive on Wednesday, and on Thursday, Grandpa was dead. And as adults, we kind of know how to deal with that. We kind of know how to work our way through that. And what we have found is that the kids just didn't get as much support in a specific and unique way as they needed. And so through that process, we have developed Camp Braveheart. And it is a camp that meets from 8:30 in the morning till 3:30 in the afternoon for 2 straight days. And during those days together, we engage the kids in play, crafts, recreation, memorial service, other opportunities for them to express their feelings through art or through different kinds of projects that we will present for them to do. We have people who come in and volunteer, and they lead our recreation programs, they lead our arts and crafts programs, and this is a great way for the kids to understand that there is an entire circle of people out there who care about them, even though before the camp started they didn't know who they were. We have 3 guiding principles at Camp Braveheart. At Camp Braveheart, our guiding principles are these. We start every morning with these 3 concepts. You are safe. You are in a safe place. You are safe physically. You are safe emotionally, and you are safe spiritually. And you can talk about whatever you want to talk about. There are no judgments here. There is no right or wrong here. There is just a hope to move from an unhealthy place toward a healthy place. The second thing we talk about is we are creating a community for these 2 days that we are here. And that community will go through everything together. We will laugh together, cry together, play together, eat together, pray together, and just be together. And it is amazing at the end of 2 days how close these kids come to each other and how close they are to the adult volunteers and staff members that are working with them. But the concept of community is so important to the kids, and it's something that reminds me every day of how the concept of community should be really important to us as adults too. That's something that we've lost a little bit of. And so we try to reestablish that with our kids and let them know there is that circle of people who care about them. The third thing that we talk to the kids about every morning is we let each one of them know that God loves them. God loves each one of them. It doesn't matter what they've done or not done. It doesn't matter where they're from, what they've been through, or what their particular experience is. God loves them and cares about them. And on these 3 foundations, we build Camp Braveheart and put together what we do for the 2 days that we are with them. Let's take a look at your work that you did. I need a couple of tables that I started to say volunteer, but I'm just going to randomly pick a couple of tables, and we're going to go through a little math. I want the table in the far back corner back there. I want someone at that table just to add up the total number of names that everybody has on their paper. So your table will have 1 Your table will have one total. And let's take this table right here up front. Someone just add up the total number of names. Y'all have a total back there? 76. 76. How many people are at your table? 7? Even in Arkansas, I think that's just a little bit over 10 people per person that you name. Your total is?
63.
63. 76 and 63 is 139, and that's out of 12 people. Or out of, I'm sorry, 5, yeah, 7, 12 people. Is that right? Yeah. Yeah. 12 people have listed 139 people that you all already know love you and care about you and have helped you in some way. I don't think we think about that very often. One of the things that our kids think is they're the only ones going through this, that they are alone, that no one else can surely understand how they feel, and maybe even no one even cares what they feel. It is always amazing when we do this exercise with the kids, and we'll have anywhere from 10 to 20 kids at a location, to see the expressions on their face when they realize how many people already care about them. People that they might not have even thought about for a while. 139 people off of these two tables that you all have identified as people you already know. If I've got something going on, you will help me. You care about me. To give that gift to a kid who is grieving and who is not sure where they fit in and not sure what is going on in their life right now is a tremendous gift to give to them. We have a simple mantra about our Camp Braveheart. We think healthy kids will create healthy communities. And that's the primary reason behind why we do this. We realize that we're going to be able to help an individual child, but we think there is a bigger thing at work in what we are doing, and that the more healthy children we have who learn how to cope with difficult circumstances and situations, even one as difficult as death, those kids are going to have some foundational building blocks to help them deal with loss. Because that's what death is at a fundamental level. And every one of us in here as adults know what it is to lose something. And it's not always death. Some of you have probably lost a job. Some of you may, in the middle 2000s, have lost a house. Or if you didn't, you might know someone who did. There is all kinds of loss that takes place in our lives. If we have some foundational building blocks on how to cope with loss, we're going to be healthier people. And at Cypress Basin Hospice, when it comes to the kids in our communities, we just don't think there's any better thing that we can do than to help those children develop some of those foundational ideas so that they will know how to deal with loss. Even loss as difficult as death and the grief that flows out from that. So maybe as Rotarians you're asking, well, what can you do? Well, there's a few things. If you're interested in working with kids, you can volunteer. There's information on the handout that I gave you of our volunteer coordinator that you can contact by email or by phone, or you can call and ask to talk to me, Mark Davenport, if you're interested in working at Camp Braveheart. And I'm going to tell you all right now, here's the most important thing you can do. I want to set aside anything where you might be saying, well, gosh, I'm not qualified to do that. Can you sit beside someone? Because if you can sit beside someone, you can work at Camp Braveheart. The power of presence is an amazing thing. Just the power of presence. So if you're interested in working with Camp Braveheart, you certainly can avail yourself of that this summer and work with us. We're always looking for groups and organizations that can financially help us. So if there's some way that you all want to raise some money and donate that to Camp Braveheart, believe me, it will be used in a wonderful way to benefit these kids and to benefit the communities in which these kids are growing up. Those are just a couple of the ways that you can be involved. But you can be involved as deeply as you want to be. Maybe you go, you know, I'm really good at crafts and stuff. I wouldn't mind leading a craft project. Absolutely. We'll have you in. We'll have you in to do that. And your day will be made wonderfully well, and so will those kids. I'd like to give you the opportunity to ask any questions or anything if you have any. I will let you know I brought a few pictures that we have taken at our previous camps over here. Just a very small representation of what we do. It shows individuals, it shows the community that we build, and it shows these kids loving on each other. One of the pictures, our photographer snapped a picture of two girls that were walking away from one of our activities that had never met each other until camp, and they were just walking away with their arms around each other, you know, just walking kind of off into the sunset, so to speak. But it speaks volumes for what we try to accomplish and what we want to do. Thank you for the time that you give to us to come and talk to you, and thank you for everything that you do for your community. I know that Rotarians do a lot, and it's positive, and communities need that now. And if you can be involved in Camp Braveheart and in the work that we do at Cypress Basin Hospice, we know that you will be fulfilled, but we also know that our community will be made stronger. Remember this, in everything that you do and in every opportunity that you have to deal with our young people. Healthy kids will create healthy communities. And that's an important thing. So thank you all very much.